Hello and welcome to another How to Code Well web chat. My name is Peter Fisher. Today I want to talk about the HTML courses that I have been doing. Recently I've done a couple, and these are courses where I have, say, 5, maybe 7 students, and we talk about HTML. The first one I did was very theory based, right? So it was a lot of talking about the document object model. There was lots of talking about the differences between what HTML is, what JavaScript is, and what CSS is. We covered something that I like to call the 3 corners. So it's like a triangle, the 3 corners of the presentation layer for websites. So you had the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And it was talking about the differences, because there's a lot of confusion I find amongst people who aren't web developers or junior web developers, and they don't know what does what, right? And they think that programming is just all of it, and it's not. It's only a small portion of it. In fact, you know, HTML isn't technically a programming language, for example, because it's a markup language. So there's all sorts of that, and we cover the document object model, like I mentioned, the node trees, tags, attributes, and so forth. And that was basically me speaking for like 3 hours, right? So after that, I did another course, and that was more hands-on. So we did about an hour and a bit of me talking. So we did the box model, we did some things in linking, and we kind of discussed a bit of images. On all the courses, I did a live demo, if you will, but in the most recent course I gave them a challenge to build a website, so they brought in their laptops and they were working to build the website. I had my code up on a projector like I did it in the earlier instances, so they could see the code, and it kind of evolved from there, really. There was a lot of one-to-one, so there was a lot of questions, there was a lot of and answers, and, you know, why does my code not work? And I would sit down and have a look and see, you know, what was wrong. And it was really nice, right? It was such a lovely feeling to be able to enable them to create websites. So I've actually given them some homework. So they are going to develop a website, a very, very basic one with linking and stuff. So I've told them the basic pages that I would like to see, and then I'm going to review those and talk about them in the next course. And we're going to look at other things like images and all sorts of other bits and pieces like that too. So the course, I suppose, is extremely beginner, right? It's extremely foundation type stuff. And I was thinking that this course that I'm doing, and the HTML tutorials that I'm currently doing, the series that I'm currently doing on the channel here, they're not really a great reflection of my skill set in the sense that of what I do every day. But I go back to the video that I did before about the transitional effect of this channel is no longer an advertisement for what I know. It's more of a help for other people to come and learn. And so there is a lot of this foundation work that I'm trying to do, because I want to bridge the gaps. And I know that I've got Docker tutorials, I know that I've got MySQL tutorials and PHP tutorials and so forth. And I certainly am aware that there are people who are watching my Docker tutorials and they've come from maybe a sysadmin of DevOpsy type background, and they don't give a monkeys about HTML. They don't really care about PHP object orientation. And likewise, there is front-end developers who are coming to this channel who care very much about HTML. You've got back-end developers who care about PHP. They don't necessarily care about HTML. I'm not going to be able to please everyone, and I'm not trying to please everyone. There isn't necessarily a schedule. I mean, there is a schedule, right? There is like a schedule of stuff that I would like to do, but there isn't like a set curriculum. There isn't like a set course. Maybe there should be. I just don't have the time to sit down and actually do some proper planning. I mean, that's the point that I would like to make. This is just me, right? This is just me doing this stuff. And you know, I don't have a guy checking the lighting, I don't have a guy checking the audio, I don't have an editor, I don't have someone who is analyzing the statistics off of YouTube and discovering what is working and what isn't working, when to upload and when not to upload, that kind of stuff. And there is only 52 weeks in the year, and I do one tutorial a week because I don't have time to do anything else. I would love to be able to do, you know, a week's worth of HTML stuff, a week's worth of Docker stuff. I don't have the time to do that. I am a freelancer, I have clients, and I need time to work with them. Obviously, they have paid for my time, so time is extremely rare. So these web chats that I do, these tutorials that I do them in my spare time, and I've limited myself to a web chat and a tutorial each week. But I want to lay the foundations for future courses, because the thing is, I want to talk about the advanced stuff, and I'm really itching to talk about the advanced stuff. But in order to get to that point, I would like to lay some foundations, and I've got no idea when I'm going to think it's a reasonable time to do that, because there's so much to talk about. You know, I could, like I said, there's 52 weeks of the year. I could spend years just talking about HTML, just talking about Docker, just talking about PHP. This isn't a PHP channel, this isn't a Docker channel, this isn't a JavaScript channel, Python channel, whatever. It's a web development channel. So I guess what I'm trying to do is build some kind of platform, if you will, where people can go and look at tutorials. But I mean, I really wish I could do this full time, and I've really not wanted to just push them out as soon as they're ready, because one week you might have 5 tutorials, next week you'll have like 1 or none, right? And it'll be all very inconsistent. So I kind of want this, I kind of want to keep the consistency going. But I don't know whether these are working or not. I'm kind of basing them on the view counts and the comments. So far they've been very positive. And yes, in the last 6 months this has been a challenge, and I have been considering jacking it in. I will omit that. I don't think there's any danger in omitting that. I'm not, because of the comments that I've received, especially from the Docker side. They've been very encouraging, and I would like to give back to the community. When I started web development, obviously I went through 2 courses, college courses and a degree, but a lot of it also was self-taught. We didn't have things like Stack Overflow. Google wasn't certainly as good as it is today. It was very difficult to find information out on the web compared to what it is today. You ended up going to forums, and they were quite clicky. You had to kind of justify why you were there. And a lot of people did take me under their wing and help me out, and I was asking the stupidest questions. But I persevered. Basically, I kind of want to build something that allows other people with those questions that I had to ask those, or watch those, what they would term as silly questions, and find out some decent logical answers off the back. And I kind of like the whole clicking moment where someone goes, oh yeah, that's how it should work. And I'm getting that when I'm doing this one-to-one teaching. But when you're sitting down with someone and they suddenly realize the mistake that they've made, and you know that they'll either never make that mistake ever again, or they will remember how they solved that. So when they make that mistake again, they know how to solve that. That is a very rewarding thing, to be able to enable them to do that. And we had 7 people in that room, all creating websites, and some of them they've never done. They've never done that. So that was from scratch. So that was very good. I came away feeling very happy and proud at what they've all achieved. And just being a part of that was great. And it was a case of teaching, and then just saying, look, go and build this. This is the specification that I want to do. I've just shown you how to do it, so you go off and do it. And then they come back and ask me questions. I would go around the table and have a look, and they would all share and advise, and it was great seeing people actually talk to the other people and go, no, you should be doing it like this, oh, let's have a look at the code. And so yeah, it was awesome. It's a very appealing thing for me to be able to teach and bring something back to the community, and be able to enable people to become developers. I mean, that is the whole point of it, right? And that's the whole point of this How to Code Well channel. And I've mentioned in the previous web chats the transition of this channel being an advertising thing for me to say to potential clients, look at what I can do, to something that is actually helping people become better and learn and develop their skill sets. So what I'm saying is we'll get to the advanced stuff, we'll get to the more technical stuff of Docker later on. I want to get the HTML stuff, the ball rolling on that. Basically, I want to have a place where I can just build upon these beginner courses, but I'm itching to work on the advanced stuff, which is kind of why I did that live stream the other week. I mean, that was because I didn't have time to do something like this, but I did that live stream on Bash because I wanted a challenge. You know, that was live Bash tutorial, and yes, I did make a lot of mistakes, but you know, it was fun to do. But that was kind of my sort of, yeah, this is what I know, this is stuff that I just do every day. You know, I work in the command line, I do all of this stuff, and I suppose that was my sort of rebellious streak of this is the stuff that I do every day. This isn't necessarily stuff that the guys who are learning HTML would even consider. So we might do that again. We might do some more live streams. I did like going live. That was just the technical challenges of that. I apologize about the sound quality on that first one, but I'm hoping that this channel will improve in both content and in lighting and sound quality. So anyway, that's kind of my justification as to why I'm doing this HTML stuff. But I would be interested to know if you've got any suggestions for any tutorials or any other web chats like this that I can do. I'll be very interested to hear from you. If you've got any comments, put them in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of the channel so far, what can be removed, what can be improved. Like the video if you found this helpful or interesting or whatever. Do share it around. Thanks ever so much for subscribing if you've done so. If you haven't, then please do so, because I have a web chat like this every Friday, as well as a web development tutorial I do every Tuesday. Thanks again for watching. Happy coding, everyone, and I will speak to you again in the next one. Cheers. Bye.